So last time we played, you guys had found the bird creature you were looking for and made your way back up through the Undercity, found your way into the sewers once again after hiding out in a building overnight to avoid the detection of some insectoid patrol. And once in the sewers, found yourself kind of caught between two different paths. You took one path and were assaulted in what looked like an old plaza of sorts by a gigantic rhino-sized beetle. After a perilous combat with it, you finished making your way to the surface, went to Nivets to try to check in with Marie, only to be turned away, being told that the elementalists were all deep in session on some secret project, and made your way back to Ravnica House, as you have... were eventually rejoined by Marie and made a trip to a shop down your street that seemed to be variable in height to Remora. There you met Aljor and procured a potion to heal the poison that had affected the bird creature, and were finally resting back at the house again. There was a slight personal confrontation between Raven and Remora.
Slight.
And we pick up the next morning.
So we do pick up the next morning.
Okay, there is a next morning.
With Harlan. So, Harlan, you come to and you feel pressure near your shoulder at the base of your neck and something around your head. You blink your eyes open and find a large wing wrapped around your head, gripping you tightly, and another wing pushing you down, holding you kind of again at the base of neck, just above your shoulder.
Is it a tender embrace or is it aggressive?
It feels slightly painful, and the bird creature, who's now just looking at you from its spot on the bed as you were in a chair and had kind of collapsed onto the bed, the bird creature speaks to you. Now be warned, if you shout out for any guards or assassins, I will exert such a force on you that I will cripple and break your body, leaving you merely a prisoner inside of it. Am I understood?
Yes, good morning.
That's muffled through the wing.
Can I
It pulls the wing back. Where have you taken me?
I didn't take you anywhere. We were all taken against our will from our home world. Where are you from?
I am from the High Spire stronghold. What do you mean, all taken? Are you Ojutai as well?
No, I've never heard of such a thing.
I will not endure lies. And it exerts a little extra force on your shoulder.
You know, I think this would be a bit more of a productive conversation if we were sitting next to each other instead of you being, all up in my business.
I have no reason to trust. I believe that last I remember, Sibsik were assaulting our stronghold. If you are an assassin, I will not allow you to stand.
Wow, Raven gets like a giant boner.
Raven's not even there. I understand this is a confusing time for you. It is for me as well. We are in a place called Ravnica. Have you heard of this place before?
No, I am not familiar.
Okay, good. Me either. We were...
inside the marshlands.
No, it's like a big city. Have you been to a city before?
The stronghold is a small settlement.
Yeah, think about that, but like very big. And with all kinds of people, not just warriors. And we're not on the same planet that you were on before. You do know there are other planets, right?
No.
Oh. There are a few of us here, and some of them might be as confused as you are. If you would like to meet, there are a few people that live in this house with us. Two other people, a blue one and a white one.
You feel a slight increase of pressure on your neck. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. So persuasive. 19.
We're not on Tarkir.
No, I have no idea where Tarkir is.
Tell me, is there access to the roof?
Oh, yeah, I'll take you up there.
Now, slowly.
Okay, cool.
It releases you.
And I very slowly, I forget the layout of the house. Can I go up to the roof without passing Remora or Raven's rooms? We were in my room.
You are on the second floor right now, and the hallway from that, essentially there's a continuous path of hallways and stairways to get you up. You don't have to go through anyone's bedroom to get to the next floor. That would be a bit odd,
Okay.
even though this house is very odd.
There's no kitchen in my house.
And I don't believe there's anyone that was staying on the fourth floor. So.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of like peek out the door and make sure their doors are closed. Are they still asleep?
It is very early in the morning.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
There's no one in the hallway, and both doors are closed.
I'm gonna do like put my finger over my mouth like shh, and then I'm gonna like tiptoe and lead them up to the roof access.
Okay. Can I get both Remora and Raven to make perception checks for me?
21.
Ooh. 16.
Okay. Remora, as you start to stir, you hear movement out in the hallway. Raven, you similarly just doing morning, I don't know, push-ups or some shit in your room. Hear movement outside.
I immediately run, grab my blade from under my pillow, and run out to the hallway, weapon drawn.
No!
I roll back over and fall back asleep.
As you're heading up the stairs, Harlan, you hear like this quick movement from behind you.
Not stealthy at all.
Oh my goodness. So I was picturing I was in front of Bird Person. Could I maybe like very quickly like get back around them to face Raven and like put my hands up like, hey man, chill.
Yes, you can get back on the other side. As soon as you first turn around, you see a moment of readiness in the Birdman's eyes, but seemingly seeing the panic in yours, he relaxes for a moment to see what transpires as you swing around him and he turns as well. Raven, you see the two of them standing at the base of the stairs leading up to the third floor.
Do I see Harlan first because they
Yes.
like got okay? So then I'll just say like, oh Harvey, it's you, and then I guess I'll notice the Bird Person, and like I was gonna put my sword up, and then I still like keep my hand on it, but I like sheath it, I guess.
Yeah, this is, not an instance where violence would be appropriate.
What?
Listen, this person is a fellow traveler of ours, and has some questions about what's going on, understandably, and we were just heading up to the roof.
And you're just showing the stranger around our home.
Yeah.
Why are you always trying to die? Okay, alright, whatever. Good luck. I go back in my room, shut the door, I'm gonna board it up.
Okay. Yeah. Bye. I'll come get you in a little while. All right.
I don't reply. I'm pushing my dresser in front of the door.
Wow.
And I'm just gonna turn to Bird Guy and be like,
I am not a traveler.
"Oh, that's just what the scientists here call people like us that came from other worlds." That's Raven, by the way. She's actually a lot sweeter than she seems at first. Sometimes.
Do I hear Harlan?
No, you hear the scraping of your dresser as you're pushing it across the floor. Raven. My name is Irikai.
Hey, Joseph, for those who are not intelligent, would you like to spell that?
I'll spell it. Don't worry. No, I got it. It's Irikkai.
Nice.
So I spelled it right.
Irikai.
So Joey just is nodding. Like, yep,
Yeah,
that's
he's
it.
just nodding. Yep.
Joey just gave me a big thumbs up. Okay, now he has actually given me a sarcastic thumbs up. Oh, I'm Harlan, by the way. Sorry.
Harlan, I will do my best to remember. Would you like to leave now?
Oh, yeah, sorry. And I lead up the stairs.
You come to the 4th floor.
So I know from prior experience that there's room for 2 people up here, so I'm gonna get up and scoot over and help them get through.
As soon as you ascend, the bird creature doesn't use the ladder. Just one strong.
Wait, you said it was very narrow, so they just go and then like thin
Yes.
out.
And essentially, one large swoop of its wings, and then pulls in and comes shooting out like a bullet, and then wings spread again and begins to fly up maybe 100 feet overhead, and you can see it pause there.
It's probably not a good idea to fly away. No one here will help you.
It's 100 feet above you.
No one here will help you. Be careful. There aren't a lot of people like us, so we gotta stick together. Don't run away.
After about 30 seconds, you see the bird creature slowly start to descend until it lands on one foot on the roof, about 5 feet away from you. It definitely does appear to be a civilization spread out in every direction.
It's called Ravnica. They have a very complex way of going about things here. But we have friends here.
Are you aware of what happened? What you said travel? What method by which we arrived here?
We aren't sure. I talked to a really powerful mage who said that he knows that this sort of thing happens sometimes, but not very frequently. And we all came here at the same time. The 4 of us, me, you, Raven, and Remora, who you haven't met yet.
Did they say anything of dragons? I saw no dragons in the sky.
That's probably a good thing, 'cause dragons are scary, right?
Not all of them.
Dragons, like, mostly kill things, right?
The dragons of the Ojitai brood are teachers, wise mentors. True, there are some dragons who cannot be trusted, but I would avoid prejudice against dragons in general.
Mm.
It's a very old way of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Out of character, I know about dragons in general, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big, scary monsters.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah. I try to avoid prejudice most of the time.
This mage, where would they be? Is that this Raven person we met before?
Oh, no. Raven is like the opposite of a mage. She doesn't know anything about anything. And I point kind of in the general direction of the area, and I'll be like, that's where Zarek hangs out. He's the head of a guild in town, the Izzet League.
The highest of their scholars.
I would say probably, as far as I understand it. He seems really smart.
And you arrived as well, Raven also?
Yeah, and apparently there were 14 total of us. And we only know of, I guess it's a total of 4 of us. We know where we are.
And do you know of any way to return? I would very much so like to return to my people.
Yeah, so would Raven. We're kind of working on it, but I'm not quite sure of how that sort of thing would be possible. And I don't think Zarek is either.
This home is taller than the others. How did you purchase it?
We actually didn't. The guy I was talking about earlier, Zarek of the Izzet League, gifted it to us because we're going to be useful in his research.
Researching travelers,
Mm-hmm.
as you put it.
Yes.
Well, in that case, I assume it is fine for me to return here?
Yeah, please stay.
Well, I feel that I should do my own research. You pointed towards that building, yes?
Yeah, they get kind of angry when you show up unannounced, though. We were thinking about going to the carnival today if you wanted to come.
I believe there are more fruitful lessons I could glean from time spent. Any idea where there might be a library? Contained histories that could be studied.
That sounds like an Is It League thing, right?
You see the
They have
Birdman
knowledge of a kind.
start to pat himself down a little bit, and he reaches in underneath his robe, and you see when he withdraws his wing, just ash dripping between feathers. I had an apple in there earlier.
Oh, do you want something to eat? We have some food downstairs.
That might be best before a day of study, yes.
Yeah, and you can meet Remora as well. I mean, if we're gonna be bunking together, it's good for us to all get along. Here, come on, let's make some breakfast. And I will take him downstairs. And is there any way to like make the gross food taste better?
As you're like pulling it in and going over a lot of it, Remora, Raven, are you guys joining for breakfast?
Yes.
Then you'll all see as he grabs a couple of pieces of fruit and just holding them in his hand, you can see steam start to rise off of them, and then you feel this gentle breeze come past.
What was that? That's so interesting. You can just cook things with your hands?
Within my order, I have learned the way of elemental control. I have studied quite intensely to be able to do this and much more.
That's
So
incredible.
everybody in this world uses magic.
It is not magic, it is a channeling of my own interior life energy.
It's magic.
Skywise Yenethus teaches us how to fully embrace our own personal abilities.
Well, I think it's quite impressive. And I appreciate it a
So,
lot.
who are you?
My name is Irakai.
And why are you here?
He's like us.
I'm apparently like you.
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to save the bird and then we'd all get to go home.
No one knows how to get us home.
I have no idea where we are, it seems even less than you do.
Well,
You probably know more than her.
okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
she makes an
Harrison.
effort to not know anything.
Noticeably,
I say as I come down the stairs.
I am ignoring the fuck out of you.
Did I hear your name as Irakai?
Irakai, yes.
Ah, an elementalist. Fascinating.
Well, I also put a good amount of effort into martial study, but scholastic pursuits have always been more in line with the duties of an orator.
He's quite intimidating.
Is he? He seems, kind of nice.
I mean,
Not
compared to
really.
me, immense martial prowess.
I don't know. I mean, he uses magic. He's good with weapons. I'm very similar in some ways.
Does he carry any weapons, or was
No.
he just like,
You see no weapons
up in
on
my
him?
business with his wings? Okay.
I thought he had weapons in the first battle we had.
No.
Oh.
No, he appeared and pretty much got RNG'd to heck by that giant ogre.
Yep.
So, any chance that we're gonna figure out how to get out of this awful place today?
Well, maybe now that we have a fourth member, we can, begin to put our heads together and figure this out.
Maybe we could try to find the other 10.
That would be a formidable team, I would say.
If it gets us home.
Did we see any of the other people that landed at that time?
So the only one that arrived after you was this bird creature, while everyone arrived within the same 30-second, maybe a minute long span. A lot of people were already running by the time you arrived. The only one that wasn't was the one that was sopping wet, collapsed on the ground.
As in,
I mean, she had her harshities before.
Yeah.
She had a hard day already.
Oh, I had.
I was the only one that didn't fight my session 0, right? You guys
You
both fought.
noticed
Oh, yeah.
signs of combat on each of them when you arrived.
I was not in a comfortable place.
Are we done talking?
Well, I think yes, but I do think we should try to find Irakai a library.
I can likely do my own research.
Well, to be
Yeah, why
fair,
can't he do that by himself?
you can't scour a whole library by yourself. I mean, we could come with you, and who knows what we could turn up.
I would be interested in learning more about this place as well.
Yeah. Seeing new places. So far, everywhere we've gone, I've been impressed and surprised by just how different it is.
And most of the time almost killed as well, so it'd probably
Yeah.
be good for all of us to go.
That's true, yeah. I mean, no offense, but I mean, you spent the last 2 days unconscious. Who knows, you might still be hurt and something bad might happen.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I feel mostly fine. I groggy, but I assume that's the effect of whatever poison Silumgar's assassin. The assassins working under a lesser dragon lord used against me.
Yeah. hmm
What he said.
I've also been sleepy since I've been here too. I think it's like a jet lag thing.
Yurikai, what people do you come from?
My people are the Ojitai clan.
Are there...
Have I ever heard
Oh, go ahead.
of any of the things that he's talking about? Okay, I was just
Yeah,
making
well,
sure.
a clan, like you get the idea that it's a bound group of people.
And I've heard of a stronghold before.
Mm-hmm.
Are there a large number of clans? Do they commonly war amongst each other?
There are 5 clans on Tarkia, led by 5 very differently aligned dragon lords.
Mm.
Well, led or in service to.
Are you led or in service?
Ojitai is a great teacher. He is the wisest, strongest, and oldest of all the dragons on Tarkia.
Hmm.
His teachings have led the Ojitai to personal heights that would not have been achievable otherwise.
Hates.
But because he's a bird?
I'm sorry.
Is that racist? For the first time
It's just a
today.
pun.
Wow,
Is
that
Harlan
was
the-
stupid.
What'd you say, Katie?
I said Raven acknowledges you for the first time today. Wow, Remora, that was stupid.
I'm pointedly ignoring her.
I am officially the only member of this group that is not a racist.
I'm not racist. It was a joke. Don't give me that look.
Harlan just like looks at you like exactly how I'm looking at you, just like eyebrows raised, like,
Oh my god.
I don't know about that. So, are we just at a dead end? Do we have any ideas of what to do next?
Well, our only lead at this point was Marie said that we should go talk to Grak
I
if
assume
we needed a contact with the Nivix. So we could do that.
I assume from your discussion that and your questions that you are from a people not led by Dragonkin.
Oh,
Certainly
no,
not.
no.
I wouldn't say I had a leader.
Who rules your lands?
Oh, the Marquesa. You guys don't have a Marquesa?
Are they some sort of powerful beings?
It's like a monarchy. They're like you and me, but they have more power because of...
Humanoids.
And because that is a ridiculous notion, some of us just don't pay attention to them at all.
Yeah, and like a common goal, like we need infrastructure. So the rich and politically powerful rule over everybody else. That's just how it works.
But what did they do to earn that, right?
Well, different things.
What, they were born into a lucky family? While others are born on the
Sometimes.
streets?
I mean...
Is that fair? Is that just?
Every system is a flawed system.
That does not mean the system has to persist. You know, the Irakai system sounds much more logical. I mean,
This
Having
conversation is pointless. We're all going to go back to our own worlds.
having a
And we never have
powerful
to see each other
benefactor
again.
oversee your entire civilization, because by rights they lead you, they teach you. That sounds worthy.
But dragons are mean most of the time. I can't
But
even
who's
wrap my head
racist
around it.
now?
I've just never heard of a nice dragon before. It's a different thing.
Well, if we ever have the opportunity, I will introduce you to the Skywise I translate for.
That would be lovely.
That would be great. That would be awesome. I would love to learn more about that.
Okay, enough political theory. We should do something useful with our time.
Like go get drunk at a carnival.
Or figure out a way to get back to our rightful planet.
That's probably the best idea.
If that is your goal, possibly dividing could serve the largest use if we have no clear direction.
Yes.
Who do we know
I
in
mean,
this?
I saw many spires throughout the city when I rose up. I undoubtedly will have an easier time traversing certain parts than the three of you.
Probably, yes.
The thing is, we know nothing about the security of the defenses of this city. I mean, for all we know, there could be, enchantments to strike down flying invaders. We truly have no idea. So we just have to insist you be incredibly careful.
It's like everything here
It's
is
dangerous.
trying to kill us.
Exactly. We have not gotten through this unscathed at all.
I've not had a single day where someone didn't try to take my life. Do you know how many days of my life?
Has it been?
Like 3?
Have you ever been in a sewer with a 500-pound beetle try to kill you?
Frankly, I just believe it's actually these two just attract and tempt fate and try and die every single day.
I'm not the one running with my knife first at everything.
And I'm not the one who fell unconscious
I wouldn't have
yesterday.
to do that if you didn't invite random strangers into our home in the morning.
You know what? If you want to hunt down your own path to this world, be my guest, but I think that we should work together.
I agree. I think we'd be much more productive as a group sharing information.
Maybe we can hit the carnival tonight. After we do a little, footwork, as it were. Or wing work.
The problem is, I really want to go to the carnival. Monroe really wants to go to the carnival. I can't think of a logical character reason that Harlan would really want to go that bad.
Yeah, especially before researching.
Yeah, Harlan wouldn't want to go research, so... I just really want
We
to...
can still go at night.
Yeah, we're talking about the blood carnival.
Well, Harlan might not have the same motivations, though, that Raven has, so
Yeah,
that might change some priorities.
but I think their motivation is to figure out how they got here, which is similar to Raven's, and I think would require
Yeah.
the same steps.
Yes.
Even though they're not necessarily as hell-bent on going home as Raven is. Yeah, I mean...
I would like to join. What's their name? Fuck.
Irakai?
I would like to join Ichthai to try and forward our progress and expedite the process to get home,
What?
rather than screw around inviting death with open arms as you typically do.
Hmm.
Do you think she knows how to fly?
I mean... Her name is Raven.
Good point.
You don't just get that name for nothing.
You have a very good point. Let's throw her off the roof and see what happens.
Oh, I think we should just try to find a library. I would love to go to a library.
Sounds good to me. And you know what? We can go to the Izzet League if nothing else works. And we can look for this crack.
I don't know what a library is, do I?
Do you know what a book is?
Do I know what books are, Joe?
Can you read?
Yeah, he said I could write my name.
But you didn't.
I'm
You
sorry,
wrote Angela.
I'm being mean. Okay, so time's a wasting.
Mm-hmm.
So, where are you guys going to go?
Well, looking for a library sounds good. Irakai, do you want to come with us, or do you truly want to go look on your own?
I have no problem coming along.
Alright, let's go. I just want to get out of this place.
As senior residents, I yield to your lead.
What is this place that you all keep speaking of that we're going?
I would have to admit you would probably be best suited to finding a library.
I smell the air. Do I smell any parchment? I have a sixth sense about books, Joey.
You can just feel them.
It's on their character sheet, Joey.
I took the book feat, the bookfinder feat. Detect books.
You step outside, you can smell coffee from a nearby patio restaurant.
Shit, want it.
What is that
Coffee.
scent?
It smells very good. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna go there. Maybe someone there will know where our library is. Let's go.
That's okay. That's actually not. a
Is
bad
this
idea.
where we learn what's happening?
No, we'll learn where to learn what's happening.
This is a very big city.
Yes.
Everything is so complicated with you.
I'm gonna go to wherever I smell the coffee and try to acquire some for my own. And hopefully there will be a person there that will help me.
Yes, I go with you. Can we follow the aroma of coffee beans?
Yeah.
If Remora gets advantage on perception checks that rely on sight, I think it's only fair that I get advantage on perception checks that rely on smell, and then Raven gets some on hearing.
What? It's
Yeah.
not just a random thing.
He didn't just get
Listen,
it.
everyone got stuff during their session 0.
Wait, that's not just like I thought it was embedded in your race or something.
No.
That's so cool.
It's an item.
I got a very cool item. I got the best item.
It hasn't
I got
come
my
yet, though.
dope ass sword.
Wait, what's your item?
Big ass sword.
My dope
Oh.
ass
You've
sword.
seen the geometric patterns. It's just a very weird looking sword.
Weird looking sword. That's all
Well,
I can
It's
that's the
dope.
way Remora would probably internalize it.
Huh? Weird sword. What?
I'm just thinking about the item that he gave me in my session 0.
I didn't give you any items. You chose a path.
And I purchased items. Everything's fine. So,
Coffee.
yeah, I'm gonna go get coffee. I'm not a morning person. It's like very early.
Hey, as we walk through the streets, I want to look around at the people in the town. Do they look scared or nervous about anything?
Make an insight check.
16.
Make a perception check for me.
Oh, fuck. 6.
Okay. So you look around, and in general, everyone seems very laid back, very relaxed. Everyone at the cafe seems to be leisuring about. There's no one who seems to be in a hurry, like they have somewhere to get afterwards. It seems like not a lazy morning. Everyone's definitely like purposeful, but no one seems in a rush anywhere. There's hustle and bustle. Of course, you're just right off of the promenade, but nothing too much. Just people coming and going from shops. And you do, since you're out so early in the morning, actually see a color-drained face, elvish figure putting out a crate of food in front of one of the houses. It looks like the morning group that's sitting these out is still going. Remore, just because it would stick out to you more than anyone else, Aljor's shop is back down to just one level, which means you no longer see the sign for the shop, because that was on the...
Is it kind of like on our way that we're going?
I mean, the cafe is closer, but they're both on the same street.
Okay. Nah, I'll just note that and go to the cafe.
Okay. So the cafe is very diverse. You see a couple of these blue, bald individuals. There you see some people of shorter races. You see some humans, elves. Still the majority human, but lots of different people here. One thing that sticks out to you is that there's a group of soldiers sitting wearing plate armor at the far corner.
Let's sit over there. Let's sit away
Yeah,
from them.
I want to walk up to them.
What? What?
No.
What?
Remora was saying, let's sit away from them.
No.
And
Well-
but I love the juxtaposition of you say this, you turn and Raven's already gone, and it's just a blinking outline of Raven.
Yeah, I want to walk right up to
the
them and
other-
sit down at their table.
Okay, so as you're
Oh
doing
my
that, the
God.
other two of you notice it's fairly quick service. There's some kind of odd set of tubes and flask behind the counter that are producing this liquid that everyone's buying. A sign behind the counter reads several different prices for different products, the cheapest of which is 10 zib.
And Zib is the copper.
Yeah, or
Zib is the
silver. Silver, probably. We
Okay.
I don't know specifically.
The most expensive of which, everything's listed as zib, except there are 3 drinks listed as a Zeno.
And I'm gonna buy one of the 10 zibs with a Zeno. So how much would I get back?
You get 3 silver pieces and 15 copper pieces.
I will have this same. I will have what she is having. Times 2, one for me and one for Yokai over here.
Okay. So you get back 3 silver coins and 5 copper coins.
Are there any markings on the coins? Like,
Yes, actually. And these coins look a little bit different than the coins you've seen before, almost as if they've been minted in just a different way. The copper pieces are just noted as 1 zip,
okay.
and the silver coins have a marking that they are a 25 zip coin.
Oh, okay. Well, I retreat to the far side of the room. for the
And
soldiers.
you have what is effectively basic ass black coffee.
Yes.
That's what we like.
Raven, you
Yes.
you approach.
Quickly, sorry, can you tell me the races
Yes,
of the...
human. That was the first thing I was going to say.
Oof.
Well, just kidding.
An entirely human contingent, all dressed in, 3 in plate mail, 2 in chain shirts. All under armor displaying the insignia of the Boros Legion, the hand with the sun around it.
Okay, so I will walk up to them and I will just kind of like stand over where they're sitting so I
Okay.
don't sit down.
Okay.
What are the threats that are facing the town currently?
Just to be clear, you're not trying to, like, intimidate.
No.
Are you? Okay. I just wanted to be sure because it can be hard to tell with Raven.
Indeed.
What do you mean threats?
You know, creatures trying to kill the townsfolk, you know, stuff like that. You're soldiers, correct?
We are Wojek, yes.
You're what?
Part of the Wojek Legion.
Mm-hmm. So are there battles happening nearby? You know, threats.
We are here to respond to any disturbance to the peace, any breaking of laws. If you are aware of anything, please let us know.
If I was aware of anything, I wouldn't be asking you, and I'll just turn around and walk away.
Jesus.
We're here to protect. And they just look kind of confused. Like, you guys, like, watching with bated breath, seeing Raven talking to this table and seeing the looks on their faces, like, just waiting for looks that...
And I'll just go
Is she
back
al- is
to
she
my
alright?
peers.
Oh, yeah, she's just like that. You know how you and I, those of us with, social graces, will act in situations. She doesn't do that. She doesn't act like how we act in social situations.
Ah, I understand.
It's a different, like, thing. I think it's a cultural thing,
I've spent my life translating the teachings of dragons to the humanoid races. I can understand if communication needs to be altered for present conversation to allow for more general understanding.
I don't think it's communication. I think she just doesn't like people.
And then I walk up.
Yes, that...
Hi, Raven. Would you like a cup of Joe, Raven?
I don't know what that means. And no.
Here, try some of mine. I'll buy you one if you would like one.
If you put it near my mouth, I'm gonna slap it out of your hand.
I was just offering it up to you. I wasn't trying to,
I
put it inside
Back
of you.
away.
Okay. Never mind then.
Anyways, I've noticed the people in this town, they're very comfortable. They're not... Why are they not afraid? Why are they not moving to battle? Why are they not...
From what I've seen, they have a relatively stable society.
Yeah.
I mean,
The first moment that we all arrived, we were attacked.
Yeah, but that was like a different, guild. That was some of the Gruul folks. We haven't seen any of those for a while.
no. And even though they were violent, I mean, it seems like people understand, to stay away from them. And, as long as they're around here, we don't really have anything to worry about.
This civilization is similarly divided?
Yeah, I was thinking that actually. There's, 12? Something? There's a ton of little clans. And for the most part, we've gotten a rather one-sided analysis. Well, we've been told to stay away from basically all of them.
Well, I think we lucked out in ending up with the most knowledgeable of the guilds, the Izzet League.
They're a bit
Why
they're
do we
a
just
bit
implicitly
unruly, but
trust them?
they seem very knowledgeable. They are scientists of a kind. I would say.
Powerful mages, scientists.
Yeah, engineers.
Mm.
They would probably be very
don't
interested in
trust
your
them.
elemental powers, actually.
They're strange.
You think everyone's strange.
Everyone here is strange.
I agree.
See? Harrison agrees. Anyways, is this the place that we're supposed to come to figure out how to get back to our world?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna...
No, we just needed coffee.
Oh.
Let's be honest here.
Actually, 1 second. I chug my coffee, like, one fell swoop.
You're always trying to die.
And I go to take my cup back up to, like, the bar to, like, give it to whoever is working back there. And I'm gonna ask...
Harlan,
You give it to the
Oh, no.
boy.
as seems to be a recurring motif with your character, as you stand up, you bump into someone.
God damn! Oh, good morning, sorry.
You see a human woman, probably in her late 30s, her hair in long red curls ending just below her shoulder, and she's dressed in a lot of browns and greens. Oh, sorry. Did I hear you mention something, that you were looking for something?
Yeah, actually I was hoping to find, the library. Oh, sorry for bumping into you, by the way.
It's not a problem. I was the one standing there.
Yeah, we were just hoping to find a library here in town. We're from out of town.
Well, there's a library in Precinct 5, if you want to go that far. There's, I know, a shop down the street that opens soon that sometimes has books.
Is that Alger's?
Yeah, Aljor. He's usually able to get stuff. He has a lot of connections inside and outside the district. And yeah.
Well, I appreciate it so much. And do you know who runs the library in Precinct 5?
Oh, it's not really guild affiliated,
Okay.
and it's open all day.
That sounds exactly like what we're looking for. Thank you so much.
No problem. Did I hear you mention the Is It?
Yeah. Do you know anybody, you know?
Are you guys members of the League?
Oh, no, we just know folks from the League. But we know folks from lots of leagues.
Acquaintances, really.
I wouldn't believe that. The League isn't good people. If you're new here, I wouldn't trust that.
What does that mean?
I knew it.
You don't trust anybody.
You shouldn't. This is why.
Why don't you trust the League? Why do you think they're bad people?
All the guilds are bad people.
That's what I picked up on.
So focused on themselves and their conflict leaves the rest of us just dying in the streets.
Are there any official organizations in town that aren't guilds? Or the guilds just where the power is?
No, the guild pact gives the guilds their power. They're pretty much in charge of everything.
Except for this library.
Yeah.
You said people are dying in the streets.
I mean, during the invasion, a lot of the guilds kind of went silent. So
There's an invasion here too.
there was. Remember, I guess you guys are from outside the tent. But yeah, there were a bunch of skeletons attacking everyone.
Where are they?
They're gone now, but they killed a lot of people.
How long ago was that?
A few months.
Yeah, we'd heard about that from some of our contacts in the League. They said that they tried to help with that incursion. Is that true?
I mean, eventually the guilds did something, but they relied on people from other worlds to get everything started.
How do you feel about people from other worlds in general?
I mean, I don't blame them as much as most people do. I hear there were more trying to help than those killing people.
Is there ill will towards people from other worlds? Even to this day?
Amongst some, especially those in the guilds. I mean, that dragon started it all. And you see Irakai
Yep.
perk up a little bit.
The dragon.
The dragon that came first brought all the skeletons and stuff. You guys came to the 10th district. What district are you from?
District 4.
Yeah, District 4. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is a pretty big trip.
Yeah, we like to walk.
You
I came to
walked
help with the
from
skeletons, but apparently
District
that's
4?
done.
I'm very athletic.
Well, welcome to the 10th. Hopefully you find whatever you made that journey for.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you. What's your name again?
Erica.
It is nice to meet you, Erica. Do you live
And
around
by
here?
the way, Erica, no one blames you for being as clumsy as you are. You can't help it.
Oh,
Thank you.
It was Harlan that bumped into her.
I do. I live just in one of the apartments down the street, and points at one of the streets coming off of Luff Street.
well, have a good day, Erica. We'll see you around.
Thank you. You have a good day as well. Good luck at the library.
Thanks. Hey, guys.
What?
I found our new favorite NPC. It's Erica. I love her.
Why?
She's great. So
It appears asking about dragons might have dropped in my priority list a little bit.
yeah, it sounds like they don't
People
really
don't
them.
like dragons.
I'll keep that in mind, though that severely hampers my planned line of research.
I mean, you could certainly read about dragons of Ravnica.
That's true, yes. I was hoping if there were any here, to be able to speak with one. Often the fastest way to gaining information and knowledge.
Am I the only one that hasn't spoken with a dragon?
I haven't.
No, I've not done that.
Many of the Oshitai have not spoken with the dragons directly. It's more so through orators like myself that translate their word, their sermons and teachings for the masses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's great. I'm sure you'd like to get back to that, as would I. Shall we?
Precinct 5, let's go.
Okay.
So my plan is to get to Precinct 5 and then start sniffing for books.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with how books smell.
How will we know? Are the precincts labeled, or how do we know when we've reached a certain one?
They're labeled on the map, right?
They're labeled
I
on the
mean-
map. You understand that there's a second large thoroughfare called 10th Street, looking at your map, that as you head west you will be able to get onto, and it runs adjacent to Precinct 5, similar to the way that the Transguild Promenade runs kind of between 4, 3, 1, and 2. And as you do so, finding yourself on 10th Street, it definitely seems less residential and large business focused, as there's a lot of tiny stalls and seems like an actual market set up all along 10th Street. I bring you this interruption to say that at this point the recording failed. Unfortunately, we missed just them walking to the library. They made it to the library and began to research different subjects. You missed me asking them for the roll. We pick up just after that roll.
I was rolling an investigation check for Fantasy
Monroe
Dewey
was
Decimal.
about to do an investigation check with advantage to look for books.
And I rolled really low, but I don't remember the exact number.
Okay.
It was like 12 or something total, I think.
And what kind were you looking? I just told you that in general. You hadn't actually told me what you were looking for yet.
Oh, well, Harlan's looking for books on Kaladesh.
Ah.
So. But also on world travel, which I assume would be in a similar vein.
Yeah, you'll be looking through books about that subject, and you're hoping to come across something about Kaladesh.
Or anything about, like, the shadow energy or whatever the fuck that was.
The what?
Aetherwork.
Ah, gotcha. You're looking through books, and you find books that discuss, again, you're looking at recent histories. You find notes on this. The books refer to it as war that happened. This individual named Bolas, a dragon who came to Ravnica from another world, bringing magical artifacts and an army with him, erecting a monument outside of the 10th district and setting an army of undead soldiers loose in the city, coated in an odd metallic coating referred to in the text as Lazotep. There are notes about warriors from other worlds who fought, but it's generally just notes on the entire force of Ravnicans, both gilded and gateless, who fought alongside these planeswalkers, people from other worlds. And it refers to a central group of these planeswalkers known as the Gatewatch, though there's no references to what that name means or anything about it.
Could I narrow my search? Could I do a Boolean? That was like recent history and Gatewatch in quotes.
So, unfortunately, they are only mentioned a couple of times in recent histories, and it seems to be from differing sources telling pretty much the same story. Everything else about the war is smaller scale. It's about buildings destroyed. It's about a large gateway that opened in the plaza, letting this undead horde into Ravnica. It's about a man named Dovin Bond who had worked for the Senate and then turned against Ravnicans using surveillance drones and working alongside this draconic invader. It reads like journals from a war. It reads like histories of a war. There are no major figures. It's very generalized because in the hecticism of war and conflict, all of that kind of faded into oblivion.
Are there any, like, personal accounts, autobiography from a plane shifter, or like how to switch worlds for dummies?
Unfortunately not. There are personal accounts of people who were on the front line. There's one written by a Boros sergeant that details the arrival of the Parhelion, a floating fortress of the Boros Legion that carried soldiers and planeswalking fighters side by side into conflict with aerial combatants. Apparently, members of the Lazotep were spread out amongst many races, including some that flew. And the Boros, essentially, memoir does cover gigantic Lazotep-coated creatures, one of which even had the ability to fly and struck down many airships and did cause some damage to Parhelion, too.
Is there any discussion of what happened to Bolas?
He was killed in the conflict by Niv Mizzet right after being revived as the Living Guild Pact.
And Niv Mizzet is the autobiography that Irakai is looking for right now, right?
Correct. Okay. That name rings true, as well as you've heard the term Guild Pact a couple of times before.
Which was established after Bolas was killed?
The texts all refer to Niv Mizzet as the new Guild Pact.
Okay.
Am I able to look up books or a book about the different districts in Ravnica?
Yes, make an investigation check for me.
An investigation?
Mm-hmm.
6.
You find notes on a couple of different areas. For example, you find notes on District 13, which is largely occupied by, laboratories, and it has a map of the area. It looks much smaller than the 10th district, and the buildings are far more spread out. And just in general, from the text, you get the impression that while here in the 10th you've seen all the guilds seemingly an equal representation, that maybe outside of the 10th that is less true, as it seems like entirely boiler works and mining operations. A lot of it is referred to as Misium purification factories. Not purification, refinement. Misium refinement factories, excuse me.
I have a question, and we may not be able to answer, but from our readings, does it seem like the only cases of people shifting worlds has been in the 10th district?
From your readings, outside of this recent conflict, there isn't any mention of people changing worlds.
But they always are like we just randomly shifted into the 10th district.
No. You don't find any mention. None of these are memoirs or books written by planeswalkers, it would appear. It would appear that this war happened here on Ravnica in the 10th district, so that is the only mention of it you find. But
Okay.
in general, it does not take, like, it's just not something that appears in any of the other books you're picking up.
If the war occurred here, chances are whatever, like, brings the planeswalkers here is in the 10th district. So
Yeah,
that could
like-
be the connection.
So we know that the 10th district is like our place to investigate more
More
closely.
than likely, yeah. Is there any discussion of what happened to the planeswalkers after the war?
The memoir by the soldier refers to many of them just going home, seeing that even preempting the fall of Bolus, many of them disappeared, just leaving in the height of conflict at the essentially 11th hour. But once the conflict was completed, many more left immediately after.
And in this section, is there any more specific references to Dovin Bond? Can I find more information about him?
So looking through, not in this book, but in other histories, it will describe, only in slightly more detail, Dovin's rise to power, his surveillance system he was setting up with the Azorius, and essentially he was replacing a lot of the precog mages meant to catch crimes before they happen by being able to witness every action taken throughout all of Ravnica, in the guise of being part of the Senate, but ultimately serving to put him at the head of that organization. After the fall of its previous guild master left the organization in disarray, the guild master Asperia.
Are there any books or accounts that mention Rad Zarig's name?
So in recent histories, the only mention of Ralzer will be in discussion of succession of guilds, similarly to mentioning how Dovin stepped into a power vacuum left by Asperia's death. The death of Niv Mizzet left the Izzet League in the hands of Ralzeric.
Okay. I mean, you never know if we're trusting a dude and we just have to look up his name and it's like, he's super fucking evil.
Right.
Can you guys think of anything else? This was not helpful at all. I didn't learn how to get home. None of these books talk about traveling.
Well, it could
Libraries are not.
it could be in a different section. I mean, we are looking at, not history as opposed to magical texts.
Does this library have like an arcane section, or is it all histories?
How are you looking to find the answer to that question?
We have two paths to verge right here. I could either try to understand fantasy doing decimal system and fail again, or I could just go talk to that nice person downstairs.
You understand the system for like locating things within a section, but the way the sections are organized is, you've never been in a thing with more than a couple of tiers, let alone, both the bookshop and the library you frequented were both one level.
Yeah.
So there was never a need for a division that would lead you to have any inclination as to why something.
Why don't you just go ask the man with the strange hair?
I'm gonna go ask the man with strange hair. Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, strange hair man.
Yes.
I was just wondering if you guys had a section on the arcane arts.
Yes, on the 6th floor, just to your left, by the door that connects it to the university.
Cool, thank you. Bye. And
The what?
flashing outline. I'm up there.
You get there and you do see a little walkway, glass doors, and there's a little plaque above the doors that says Path to Prism University.
So, is that where I would understand that the books that I'm looking for are?
He said near the doors.
Near the doors.
You understand that it's kind of in that section over there, but still within the library.
Well, they're looking at magic shit.
Hey, if you're looking for a way to get home, this is the way to do it.
Prison University.
Yeah, I don't really know about magic, don't really care to know about magic. So I'm just gonna walk back downstairs to the strange hair man. Say, hey, fighting, weapons, that shit, where's that?
Well, you're a good distance from Sunhome if you're looking for the Legion.
I'm looking, oh my god, I'm looking for reading about it.
Oh.
Technique, style.
Well, I suppose there's a history of the Boros Legion themselves. I'm sure within their histories are many of their processes and techniques.
Wait, okay,
All,
would you like to...
all guild readings are on the first floor here, the section with the red shelves.
I immediately walk away towards that direction.
Okay. So, Raven and Harlan have both found their way towards very distinct sections.
I'm with Harlan.
Sticking with, okay.
I'm looking for any, discussion on the actual process of planeswalking.
I'm looking for kind of specifically, projection of magical effects. It's not like there was just, a shooting line of energy that, shot me from Fiora to Ravnica. I want to know how something gets from one place to a very far away place through a magical source that is at either one of those places.
Okay. Both of you make investigation checks for me, just straight investigation.
I want to play a wizard because I want to be smart.
Do you want my dice, Jill?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Natural one.
Totally.
Both of you?
The most you find are histories of teleportation magic, notes on mages who studied at the university next door, and many of those mages ended up within the Izzet League, working in laboratories of orientation. But there's no mention of other worlds in any of these books. There's no there's no even concept of it. Similar to how you thought a week ago. Raven.
Yeah.
You find what you're looking for, but it's very dry and boring, and it's not well written. I mean, it's very functional, but it describes a more brutish combat style, and it seems largely for the sake of repression. And there is some mention of fire and light magic given by the angels of the Boros Legion.
Not what I want, not my style. I put it up, walk and find the others.
Did you get anywhere, Raven?
No, it was dumb. These soldiers are not the kind I'm used to.
Perhaps we should catch up with Irakai and see if he's had any better luck.
Alternatively, since we are not getting where we'd like to go on our research, we could try talking to some of the people at Prism University who theoretically have done lots more research than us. Because they've had access to this library for a lot longer than we have.
Best idea I can think of.
Let's go.
Are you okay with that, Raven?
Someone has to keep you two alive.
Oh boy. Yet again, who was the one who kept you alive last time?
Irakai seems fine. I feel like we'll meet up with him later.
Yeah, he'll be alright.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's already found what he wants. Though we'll have to let him know that the conflict was caused by a dragon, so maybe he shouldn't go around asking about dragons.
Well, he seems like he has a more morally ambiguous opinion of dragons. Like, some dragons are bad, but
Yes,
mostly not bad.
but the wounds are very fresh.
The wounds are very flesh?
The wounds are very fresh in these people's minds.
It was skeletons. They had no flesh.
Yes, I know. But when people here think about dragons, they're going to think about the terrible rampaging, or maybe not rampaging, mastermind of the conflict. And that was only a few months ago.
Okay.
Let's go to the university.
Okay.
You hear the flapping of wings as Irakai descends back to the first floor and is walking out the main entrance.
Should we stop
Let
him?
him go. We don't know him. We don't trust him.
I
What?
feel like he's on his whole thing.
What?
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows where we live. Okay.
On the glass bridge that leads between the two buildings, you can see him just flying off into the distance. And you guys enter into the, what? I guess in this building you wouldn't be clear what floor you're on, but you're obviously on some higher level of a building. There's a small crook directly in front of you as the pathway slightly turns, and you can see doors on either side, most of which are open. You can hear a voice coming from one of them as you can see into a gigantic auditorium. There's maybe 100 people sitting, and there's a person standing at the front. 3 large water-filled bubbles floating, almost as if they're being juggled, but more so just motion to move around in an odd little show, almost like they're dancing. And this man with his tiny little goatee is speaking. Harlan, your understanding of basic magic theory, you catch some of it, but it seems overall a little over your head even.
I'm gonna like sneak into the back row and see if I can get a seat to watch his lecture.
There are plenty of open seats.
I'll hang out with you.
I'll
I'm
stay by the
interested.
door and kind of lean up against the wall, arms crossed.
Edge Lord.
She's the kid that sits in the back of the class with like her feet up on the desk, just like on her phone, like really obviously.
Yeah.
Harlan, make an intelligence check for me.
Those are going so good for me today. 19.
Hey.
You pick up on some of the basics that are being gone over, and you think that if you stayed for the rest of the lecture, you'd probably be able to understand the intricacies of the spell that he's going over. I don't know if you have any extra paper and ink at the moment, but you'd be able to get the basics enough of it to where you could jot it down later.
So I could theoretically learn now, remember later, and copy it down onto good paper.
Very soon later, yes.
Okay.
If you want to stay for the next, I mean, knowing how these things go, probably hour or so.
I think I'm going to stay for a while. You guys can go on if you want, or stay if you want.
I'd honestly rather stay with you.
Okay.
So that means so from your answer to that last question, I'm assuming that means you don't currently have any ink or paper
No.
access? Okay.
I mean, I have normal paper and like
So
a
you're able
normal
to take,
ink.
you're able to take the notes that you'll need to be able to reference later, but you're not able to directly describe them right now, or the actual rooms that you'll need
Yeah.
right now. Cool. You're there for an hour. Eventually, the lesson comes to an end. He slowly closes his hands, and you can see each bit of water just fall back down into a tiny little drop, holds out a glass, and each one he lets fall into it one at a time.
I think it's pretty cool. It's over my head, but I think it's very cool.
I mean, just like I haven't seen a lot of people doing a lot of magic.
I can show you some things.
Casting spells and stuff. I mean, I haven't seen, beyond like parlor tricks, I haven't seen anything since I've been on this, like, since before, no. Before I came on this world, I hadn't seen anything like that before.
I can do some
Well,
magic kind of like that. I can show you.
I'd love to. See.
Okay. What are you gonna say?
I was to say, while you guys are like talking after the class, can I just go up to the professor?
Sure, there aren't going to be any other students gathering around. Everyone kind of quickly closes up large tomes they've been taking notes in and makes their way out. There's some waves to the person at the front, yes, but for the most part, everyone makes their way quickly out. and he's just standing at the front. He's a definitely well-aged elvish man, trimmed sideburns leading into a sharp pointed goatee, and he just looks up as you walk up.
You do magic, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you know about how to like go to different worlds and stuff?
Are you referring to different planes?
Yeah.
No, I can't say I do. It's an interesting idea, but there aren't very many planeswalkers on Ravnica anymore, is my understanding, and I haven't had the opportunity yet to speak with one about the actual process at any great length.
Have you spoken with any? Do you know any?
Not directly, no, but there was a woman who came here to the university right after the conflict. She studied with one of the other masters here, and then she was gone, unfortunately.
Gone back to her home, or?
My understanding was that she left Ravnica. I don't know exactly where she was going.
Who's the other master that she spoke to?
She spoke with Darda.
Is Darda here today?
He should be. He had morning lessons, but he's usually in his office up on the 5th floor.
Why doesn't anyone in this world know anything about traveling worlds?
We're trying to figure that out.
Darda seemed to think that it's something that manifests in a very small percentage of people. The woman he spoke with said that she gained her ability on the brink of death, so it's quite possible, we've theorized, that maybe it is something that lies dormant in a lot of people, but who knows what percentage of those actually receive the ability.
And your name is? I'm sorry.
Brindle.
Brindle.
What a fucking wizard-ass name.
Thank you very much, Brindle. It's been a pleasure to meet with you. Oh, my name is Harlan Severino, by the way.
Harlan, have you been studying at the university long?
Oh, no, I'm a new student.
Well, if you ever have any questions, I tutor and mentor a lot of the new students.
Thank you so much.
Yo, Prings.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit. What was I gonna ask him?
What?
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to think. I had a question in my head. Is this university affiliated with any of the guilds around here?
Not directly, no. I mean, most mages who study here do eventually end up joining one of the guilds.
Dope.
Right.
Hey, I pull Harmon aside.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Harmon.
Yes.
Maybe we should, tell this guy that we're from other worlds and stuff, because he might end up being able to help us a bit more than.
Maybe not Pringle. Maybe we could talk to Darda.
Yeah, I think we should talk to Darda.
All right, whatever you think.
Okay, pleased to meet you, Brindle.
It's a pleasure. Again, if you need anything, my office is up on 5 as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should we go up to 5?
Yeah.
If we were on floor 6 of the library,
Do you guys want to keep going?
straight across, and then we're on below level 5 in the other building. So the other building is up higher than
I mean, you're in a
library.
pretty big auditorium that would have taken up 2.5 stories in the other building. So you know that it definitely can't be a 1-to-1 ratio.
Oh boy.
Oh.
And also, the building you entered definitely was lower ground level. Again, everything in Ravnica, even buildings in the same general area, are kind of at differing levels a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Harrison, did you have a near-death experience, like you said, right before you showed up here?
No. I was just, star watching.
Oh,
Quite deadly.
so his theory is incorrect.
I mean, maybe I fell off the roof and didn't know. Maybe we're all dead.
Oh, that would explain it.
And
That would
this
make
is
sense.
the astral plane and nobody knows that it's the astral plane.
That sounds like hell.
I mean, more like a limbo thing, right?
I probably deserve it if we're in hell.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh.
What did you do?
Shady backstory. Sorry.
Okay. I get it's a touchy subject. Okay. I think we should go talk to Darda.
I think so too.
Darda!
Going up to the 5th floor.
Darda!
You find a staircase that leads up, and you find yourself...
Is there a label that just says 5?
There is not. No.
And then an arrow that says Darda?
No, but there is a hallway with doors on either side.
Darda?
I'm looking at the little tiles by all the doors that say everybody's names, and I'm looking for the one that says Darda, because they definitely have those, right?
They not only have them, but they are, as you would expect, on little, what would they be called? Essentially, outset file receivers.
Oh, yeah. Like a little folder, the
Oh,
ones that are
yeah.
attached to the door.
Yeah.
And indeed, the second one on your left is Darda. One moment. Excuse me. Pardon me. Then the door opens. Yes, hello?
Oh, good afternoon. We
Good afternoon indeed, yes.
we are new students at the university, and we have questions.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Professor Darda.
Harlan Severino. Pleased to meet you.
Harlan, pleasure to meet you. And he takes your hand with both of his.
Remora Petrichor.
Rumara.
I take a big step back, Angela.
What is your problem?
Angela, it's a pleasure to have you as well. And he gives you a little wave as he sees you back away.
So, planeswalkers.
Yes.
Travel between worlds. How you do it?
We were wondering if you could tell us anything about the planeswalker that you worked with for a brief period.
Narset. Yes. Just brief talks, sharings of histories. She seemed very interested in what life was like here on Ravnica. Just
What was her name?
Narset.
And what world was she from?
She told me her world was Tarkir.
Wait. Hey! Hey guys! We did it! We found 2 people from the same world!
We found a connection.
Hey!
Wait, who else is from that world?
Irikai.
Really?
The bird boy. Yeah.
Was she a bird?
No, she was a fine young woman, hungry for knowledge.
Well, did she ever share that knowledge? Like, tell you how she walked between the planes?
She mentioned the experience and how she had been coping with it, the understanding of multiple worlds and all the different ones she had seen.
That is so
many
interesting.
Ravnicans now knowing the same exist or having the same issues.
So, what about the process of how she would, let's say, go home from Ravnica?
She described it as, stepping through a film, almost like the feeling of walking into a swamp.
Did she control her movements through the different planes, or?
She said that she had control over it now, yes.
Did she not always?
No, she described it as a young dragon hatchling, not knowing how to fly right away, but inherently understanding once it was able to.
And did that understanding come from working here at the university, or was it sort of an innate getting used to things thing?
Similar to the hatchling, an innate ability she had uncovered.
Interesting.
And when did it begin with her?
She said that she had been embroiled in some conflict, uncovering secrets, and that during her search for discovery, during a crisis, her spark ignited and allowed her to travel.
And then after she studied here, she went home?
She seemed to long for her home, yes. But she was hungry for knowledge, and I would not be surprised. I mean, travel like that's a gift, especially for one as inquisitive and strong-minded. I mean, she was a quicker student than any I've seen before.
Can I make an insight check? Is this dude, in love with her?
Sure.
Oh, fuck. 13.
He seems overtly impressed with her academic ability.
Okay. That was like the Katie roll.
I understand. At most, it seems like a brain-to-brain boner situation.
Brain crush. Yep.
B2BB.
Sapiosexual.
So,
So, is there anything else we can get from this guy?
so Professor Darda, do you know anything, or did she ever speak of anything about Aether work or about the blind eternities, or do you know anyone that specifies in that sort of research?
No, I know she referred to the eternities between the planes, the sea that swam through to get from place to place. The same way we would describe a street that we walk on every day to get where we need to go. Aetherwork, is that from the plane you're from?
Oh, he knows.
That insight check, though.
Is he fucking with me? Is he trying to like call me out, or
Keep your poker face
is he
on.
certain?
You can make an insight check.
Okay. Shit. That's a total of 6.
So you know something really clearly. Not about his intention, but about your own inability to keep your cool at that moment.
You just start sweating.
No, I heard about it from a friend. I read it in a book. I read a lot.
Right. That's good. There's a library right next door if you're looking for anything. I spend a lot of time there myself.
You know, I hadn't heard about that. I might just go check that out
Harlan,
right now.
Harlan, maybe it's okay if we're honest with him. I think he might be an ally. Like, who's going to just attack us for coming from another world?
Erica seemed to think that people don't like planeswalkers very much.
Well, Erica wasn't someone who worked with a planeswalker. Yes, we are from
Hey,
other worlds.
yeah, dude, we're from different worlds.
Which one are you all from?
That's none of your business.
Ferun.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh,
I guess I haven't heard of many. But
Oh, there's probably quite a few.
is it similar?
I haven't seen anything besides this city, so I can't say.
We're trying to get back, and
There isn't anything else.
Oh. Then yes,
Just-
it's very different.
it's just the city?
All of Ravnica is city, yes.
Oh.
Oh, this is something I wanted to ask about earlier when we were at the library. Is Ravnica the planet or the country or all of that?
Your pickup is that Ravnica is all of it.
It's a planet.
And Ravnica is a united governmental system with different districts.
You understand that you are in the 10th district of Ravnica, and the implication from Ral and that you confirmed in the text is that Ravnica is the name of the entirety of the plane. It's just what people would say, like we would say Earth.
It is just an urban plane.
So, do you know how we would go about getting back to our worlds, or
Do you not know how?
No.
We came here
no? That's
accidentally.
negative, Ghost Rider.
No. Narset just always made it out like she learned by doing.
Well, I'm thinking we're in that early hatchling phase.
Yeah, but it's only been a handful of days, so we are still learning.
Well, I'm sure you'll get it then. And it's fine to stay in the nest until you do. Luckily, you arrived when the plane was a little bit more hospitable than it was here recently.
Yeah.
Professor Dardo, what is your specialty, if I may ask?
My specialty is evocation magic.
So do you have like a special professor for all of the magical disciplines?
There are several spread throughout. We have, for example, 3 different professors who cover different areas of conjuration magics.
Would you happen to know any that specify in illusory magic?
There are several, yes.
And since we're being honest with each other now, I am not a new student at the university, but I would like to become one. What is the application process like?
Harlan, I'll take care of the documentation. Any day you want to show up, you can feel free to set in.
Oh my god!
First day of school! First day of school!
Oh my god! He likes
Is this
I'm sure we
university?
have a lot we can learn from one another.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Wow. You were right. Remember, you were right. We should be honest with everybody now.
Can I do an insight check on his last statement and see,
Yeah.
because I have good insight. 20. Was he being honest?
Yes, he is very excited to have a chance to learn more about different worlds. Harlan, which world are you from?
Oh, I'm from Fiora. Have you heard of it?
No, I can't say I have. Well, no. I think there was a person from Fiora amongst the dead during the war.
Oh, I heard about that. That's so
I-
interesting.
I remember reading about it.
Yeah, do you recall the person's name?
No, but I have the text here. And you see, as he moves out of the way in the door frame, he's a bit older. He's got a white beard. He's a little pudgy. And you can see a file cabinet that is kind of off-center behind him, kind of jutted out at an angle. And it looks like maybe it had been knocked into or something. One of the drawers is just slightly ajar. And he walks over and opens up one of the cabinets and grabs a book out of it. And this book looks very similar to yours, almost like a file folder, just pages stuffed into it. Here's the document, and pulls out a page. Mr. Faden.
Faden as in last name?
Yes. Dak, first name.
Are there any...
Apparently he had been identified as having been on Ravnica before. People said that they had recognized him, so it wasn't his first trip here during the war.
So, he had traveled here, went back, and then traveled here again?
That I don't know. I just know people had seen him before. He didn't just come for the war. He had been here before.
Okay.
Were there any people from Faerun?
No, like I said, I'm sure that's the first time I've heard that. It says here that one of the people that said they recognized him think he stole from a pain club.
A what? Like, is it P-A-N-E? Or P-A-I-N? Katie, you didn't say this, but I said P-A-N-E, and Joey just shook his head.
Gorehouse. It's a Rakdos pain club located in the 6th.
Let's not go there.
Can I look at the list and see if there's anyone from my planet on there?
Yes.
Well, what did he steal from the pain club? Did he steal pain?
Katie, give me an investigation check.
Balls. 12.
So you real quick glance through and you don't see the name of your world on the list.
Got it.
If you're interested in the dead, there's a monument being built to them in the old, well, it's still the plaza, but it's currently in severe disrepair.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Thank you so much.
No problem, Harlan. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
What time is it?
It would now be late afternoon.
Okay. So
Probably
we still have the
back
day.
home soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, Darda.
A pleasure. Unless anyone has anything, for expediency's sake, we'll say you return to Ravnica House to prepare for whatever your next plan of the day is, or do you think you might go somewhere else, or?
No.
Just point of order, we need to name the house.
Yeah.
Ravnica House is not bad.
That's just what I'm calling it temporarily, if you have a different house.
The name of the house is Ladders.
Ladders.
I don't get the ladders.
Yeah, me
Joe.
neither. I
I
haven't
don't
gotten it yet.
remember, but it's a big deal.
Ladders are a huge deal. There was a ladder in my session 0. There was like 6 ladders in our first 2 sessions. And there have been ladders like all the time. There's like tons of ladders in Ravnica.
Were we going back to regroup, or were we going back to, go to sleep?
But considering how long it took us to get there, it's probably going to be evening by the time we get home.
I mean, you spent a fair amount of time at the cafe, especially at the library, and again, inside the university, spent over an hour there. So you will be able to return home by very early evening, like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Okay, we can start up at 5 or 6 o'clock when we get back. When we start.
Okay.
Up
I think that Harlan has a legitimate academic interest to want to go to the Blood Carnival now.
Oh, we have time.
Let's go!
Buddy,
Okay.
we'll do that. Tune in next week for the Blood Carnival.
Yeah.